Back now on Forsyth County Connections, we have a returning visitor to the show. This whole show, we have a lot of returning visitors, so they must like coming. You must like coming here.
We do. I do.
Well, they're saying that now because we're taping. Virginia Lopez, Family and Consumer Sciences Agent with the North Carolina Cooperative Extension Office in Forsyth County. Welcome back.
Thank you.
People, now I know when you look at me, I'm in my 70s, so I've been around for a long time. People used to can all sorts of foods at home. It was just a normal thing. Mm-hmm. And then it seems like we got away from that for a while. And now, you can correct me if I'm wrong, now it looks like we're getting back to the tradition of canning. Why is canning of food popular again?
Yes, we have been seeing a trend, an upward trend of people wanting to preserve their foods in can. And there's a few things that come together. One is saving money, especially as we're seeing our prices rise in food, right? And then the self-sufficiency, being prepared. You know, we've had some disasters happening around, and
That's
you know,
right.
people are stuck at home, can't get out to the markets.
Who would have thought that flooding would occur and it was such a disaster in the western part of North Carolina? You know, they weren't ready for that.
They weren't. Yes.
And you're right. You need to have things, stock items, and canned food is great.
Yeah.
Great too. Now, you know, you and I can make up any kind of recipe we want, I suppose, and put them in a container or can them or whatever. But what's really important, and you tell me about this, is there seems to be a right way and a wrong way to actually can something. No matter what it is, there's a right way and a wrong way, right? Help me out with that.
I want to say there is a safe way. The safe way of canning is by using the proper method depending on the type of food, because our foods are categorized into low acid or high acid foods. So you have to have that right method, otherwise you're risking your family, yourself, that if you're, for example, canning low acid foods in a water bath canner, then that temperature does not get high enough to destroy what we call the spores that live in some of these vegetables and fruits that produce the toxin that leads to botulism.
Well, now when you say, help educate me here, when you say low acid and high acid, give me an example of food.
Okay, so for example, vegetables, meats, and soups are considered low acid foods. Those items need to be pressure canned.
Okay.
Because they reach that high temperature to destroy any spores that may be in that food.
All right.
Whereas high acid foods are mostly our fruits. So that's when you see people making jams and jellies or pickling food. It's because they're adding, or there is already an acidity, and there is a cutoff level of what acidity level needs to be.
I didn't know that.
Yes, the pH needs to be 4.6 or higher for it to be considered a high acid food.
But how, as just a stupid consumer like me, I mean, how would I know that, though?
You would know, right? But again, keeping in mind low acid food are vegetables, meats, soups. High acid foods are your vegetables. But that's why we do the educational component. We educate you more, because you make like low acid foods. You know, I was saying vegetables like your green beans, right? Your corn. Could you make those acidify them by adding some vinegar and some lemon juice? But it's the quantity you have to know, and so what's recommended is that people use research-based tested recipes.
All right, now let's simplify this here. True or false? Do you have some canning classes coming up anytime?
Yes, I do.
Well, that's what we need. That's what we need then. When are they and where are they?
Yes, so we have Introduction to Canning on October 16th. We have Pressure Canning, and they're going to be held at the Rupert Bell Neighborhood Center, where we are collaborating, and they're going to be from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., where people can come and learn the basics, get the resources needed, and feel comfortable doing it on their own.
Is there anything I should never can? Or is that a stupid question?
Well, there are some foods that just don't do well in the canning process.
Okay.
You know, they get too mushy.
Yeah.
So you're also, you know, you're canning not only for the safety, but for the quality of your food that's going to last you at least the next season.
My mom used to can snap beans all the time, the green beans. It was great. Virginia, thanks for all you're doing. I'm glad you told us about the classes coming up. We need to all go to that and practice food safety. Thanks for everything.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.